The other dominant themes of the gospel passage are faith and healing. Faith is to believe what we do not see. The reward of this faith is to see what we believe, says St. Augustine. May we trust in God's healing power, both physically and spiritually. Persistence in prayer. One who prays is a friend of God, says John Chrysostom. May we teach the importance of persistent prayers and not give up on our petitions to God, but God knows what we need. May God give us the thankful heart. The spiritual side versus physical side. It is not the body size that need to be healed, but the soul, says St. John of the Cross. The spiritual sight allows us to see the truth of God's love and guidance. In the gospel passage, Bartimaeus, he was a poor man, but he could see the power of Jesus, his healing in his life. Overcoming obstacles. The obstacles are those things we see when we take our eyes off the goals. And Teresa of Avila, may we overcome obstacles and barriers in our own spiritual journey. Never give up hope. To begin again always and to trust in God. The role of Jesus in our lives. Jesus is not just a friend or a teacher. He is the way, the truth, and the life, says Pope Francis. May we center our lives on Jesus, guiding and directing our actions. The power of faith in action. Faith without works is dead, St. James the Just. May our faith be demonstrated through actions such as acts of charity and love. Humility and surrender. Listening is the beginning of prayer, Pope Benedict XVI. May we recognize and respond to God's call in our lives. Transformation through encounter. Every encounter with Christ is a turning point in our lives. John Paul II. The transformative power of an encounter with Christ changed the life of Bartimaeus. He became the disciple to see, to learn, and to walk with Christ. Gratitude for divine intervention. Gratitude is not only the greatest of virtues, but the present all of others, says St. Cicero. May we promote a spirit of gratitude for the ways God intervenes and guides us in our lives. The power of faith in action. The call to discipleship is a challenge to see, learn, and think, and to change our way of lives in following Christ. To learn, to see, to think is a call to discipleship. The thinking, learning, changing our lives comes from the root word of matates, referred as student, pupil, apprentice, as opposed to a teacher. In the ancient world, however, it's most often associated with people who were devoted followers of great religious leaders or teachers of philosophy. On our way following Christ, how are we His learners? How are we His followers when we see, learn, think, and that calls us to change our lives? Seeing with eyes of Christ, I can give to others much more than their outward necessities. I can give them the look of love which they crave, says Pope Benedict XVI, in God is love, Deus Caritas Est. The background of the passage is very clear. The different reactions. Blind men, people, Jesus. What do you want me to do? There are three eyes of faith. One is physical eyesight of seeing. The second is how we see through our perceptions and mind, which is scientifically and mythically sometimes difficult to understand. what we need is the eye of the soul, the eye of faith. May we leave the fear and bitterness from the back door and embrace peace and joy and exit from the front door. We all face our blind spot in our life, which is poor self-image. God doesn't love me, but God loves us constantly.